The store manager was furious. "Johnny, get in my office right this second," he roared across the floor. Johnny walked in, looking completely calm. "Yes, boss. What's up?" The manager slammed his hand on the desk. "I just saw you having a massive argument with the client who just walked out the door. How many times do I have to remind you? The customer is always right. Do you get that through your thick skull?" "Crystal clear, sir." Johnny nodded smoothly. "The customer is always right. No exceptions." The manager calmed down a bit, adjusting his tie. "Good. Now, tell me, what on earth were you two even arguing about in the first place?" "Well," Johnny replied, "the guy was insisting that my boss is a complete incompetent idiot and a total clown." The manager's face turned bright red with anger. "What an absolute moron. And what did you say to him?" Johnny smiled and said, "I told him he was absolutely right." A woman walked into a local dessert parlor and stepped up to the counter. "Hi, could I please get a scoop of chocolate ice cream in a waffle cone?" she asked. "I'm sorry, ma'am," the employee replied politely. "We are completely out of chocolate today." "Oh, that's a shame," she murmured. "In that case, I'll just take a double scoop chocolate sundae." The employee blinked, trying to stay patient. "Like I mentioned, ma'am, we don't have any chocolate left." "Well, then how about a thick chocolate milkshake instead?" she suggested cheerfully. At this point, the guy behind the counter was losing his mind. Realizing that polite repetition wasn't working, he decided to try a different approach to get through to her. "Ma'am, let me ask you a quick question," he said, leaning over the counter. "Do you see the van in vanilla?" "Yes, of course," she answered, looking confused. "And do you see the straw in strawberry?" "Yes, I do." "All right. Now, ma'am, can you please tell me if you see the hell in chocolate?" The woman paused, thought about it for a second, and frowned. "Wait, there's no hell in chocolate." The employee threw his hands in the air and yelled, "Exactly. That is what I've been trying to tell you the whole time." A nervous young minister, new to the church, told the flock, "For my text today, I will take the words, and they fed 5 men with 5,000 loaves of bread and 2,000 fishes." A member of the flock snicked at the preacher's snafu, raised his hand, and said, "That's not much of a trick. I could do that." The minister didn't respond. However, the next Sunday, he decided to repeat the text. This time he did it properly, and they fed 5,000 men with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. Smiling, the minister said to the noisy man, "Could you do that, Mr. Perkins?" The member of the flock said, "I sure could." "How would you do it?" "With all the food I had left over from last Sunday." There's a guy who has a dog that doesn't obey him. He sees an ad in the paper for a great dog trainer. So, he decides to go to the dog trainer and get his dog trained. The guy walks in the room and asks, "Can you train my dog? And are you a good trainer?" The trainer replies, "Well, I can train your dog, and I will give you a demonstration of how good I am." He dumped a box full of bones on the floor and blew a whistle. The first dog came in and made a skeleton with the bones. "Wow," said the guy. "What kind of dog is that?" "That's a nurse's dog," said the trainer. Then he blows the whistle again, and a second dog comes in the room. "That dog makes a big building." The man says, "Wow, what kind of dog is that?" "That's an architect's dog," replies the trainer. Then the trainer blows the whistle again, and a third dog comes in. That dog takes the bones, screws the other 2 dogs, and runs away. "Wow, what kind of dog is that?" says the man. "That's a lawyer's dog." A blonde walks into the library, looks around, then gets in line for the counter. Once she gets to the head of the line, she loudly says, "I'd like a Big Mac, large fries, and a large Coke." The librarian looks at her for a moment, then whispers, "Ma'am, this is the library." The blonde nods. Then she whispers, "I'd like a Big Mac, large fries, and a large Coke." A popular neighborhood tavern was so confident in their massive bartender's brute strength that they posted a permanent $1,000 challenge on the wall. The rules were simple. The bartender would crush a fresh lemon with his bare hand until every single bit of juice filled the glass. He would then pass the flattened rind to any customer. If anyone could squeeze out just one single extra drop of juice, they would walk away with the cash. Over the years, dozens of challengers, including professional bodybuilders, massive construction workers, and elite athletes, had tried their luck, but none of them could extract even a hint of moisture from the leftover rind. Then, on a quiet afternoon, a tiny, frail-looking man walked through the door. He was wearing thick, oversized glasses and a mismatched vintage suit, and spoke in a quiet, high-pitched voice. "Excuse me, but I'd like to take a shot at that wager." Once the regular patrons finished laughing their heads off, the amused bartender nodded, grabbed a fresh lemon, and squeezed it with all his might until it looked like a piece of old leather. Smiling confidently, he handed the completely crushed rind to the little man. The tavern went dead silent as the scrawny man wrapped his small hand around the rind. He clenched his fist, and to everyone's absolute horror, 6 clear drops of lemon juice dripped steadily into the glass. The bar erupted into wild cheers as the stunned bartender reluctantly counted out the $1,000 in cash. He looked at the man in disbelief. "Man, what on earth do you do for a living? Are you secretly a world-class climber, a power lifter, or what?" The little man put the money securely in his pocket, pushed up his glasses, and replied, "Oh, none of that. I'm an auditor for the IRS." One day a man found an odd-looking lamp and rubbed it. From inside came a genie, who told him he'd get 3 wishes, but whatever he wished for, his mother-in-law would get double what he got. "What would you like for your first wish?" asked the genie. "I want $1 billion, replies the man. "Remember," says the genie, "your mother-in-law gets double what you got." "I know." The man then chooses his second wish. "I wish I had a brand new sports car." So, he gets his second wish, and he's very content. Your mother-in-law gets double what you get. "Now, what would you like for your third wish?" asks the genie. The man ponders for a moment, then answers, "I wish to be beaten half to death." 3 women are about to be executed for crimes. One's a brunette, one's a redhead, and one's a blonde. 2 guards bring the brunette forward, and the executioner asks if she has any last requests. She says no, and the executioner shouts, "Ready, aim." Suddenly the brunette yells, "Earthquake!" Everyone is startled and looks around. She manages to escape. The angry guards then bring the redhead forward, and the executioner asks if she has any last requests. She says no, and the executioner shouts, "Ready, aim." The redhead then screams, "Tornado!" Yet again, everyone is startled and looks around. She too escapes execution. By this point, the blonde has figured out what the others did. The guards bring her forward, and the executioner asks if she has any last requests. She also says no, and the executioner shouts, "Ready, aim." The blonde shouts, "Fire!"